Okay, now we move to the second part of the chapter 13, which is the reading comprehension passage, and the title is The Ecosystem. Natalia and I are going to read alternatively. Pre-reading warm-up questions. Where do you live? Describe the natural scene at your place. Do you think there are relationships between animals and plants living at the same place?
An ecosystem is a community which includes all of the living things, plants, animals, and organisms, in a given area, interacting with each other and also with their non-living environments, weather, earth, sun, oil, climate, atmosphere.
In an ecosystem, each organism has its own role to play. Usually, biotic or living members of an ecosystem, together with their abiotic non-living factors, depend on each other. This means the absence of one number or one abiotic factor can affect all parties of the ecosystem.
Consider a small puddle at the back of your home. In it, you may find all sorts of living things, from microorganisms to insects and plants. These may depend on non-living things like water, sunlight, turbulence in the puddle, temperature, atmospheric pressure, and even nutrients in the water for life.
All these living organisms and their environment live in very complex, wonderful interaction with each other. For instance, in an ecosystem where there are both rabbits and foxes, these two creatures are in a relationship where the fox eats the rabbit in order to survive. This relationship has a knock-on effect with the other creatures and plants that live in the same or similar areas. For instance, the more rabbits that foxes eat, the more the plants may start to thrive because there are fewer rabbits to eat them.
Ecosystems are incredibly diverse. Not only can ecosystems vary in size, but they can also differ in types. Ecosystems can be small, such as the tide pools found near the rocky shores of many oceans, or very large, such as the Amazon rainforest in South America. Ecosystems can be huge, with many hundreds of different animals and plants all living in a delicate balance, or they could be relatively small. In some harsh places in the world, such as the North and South Poles, the ecosystems are relatively simple because there are only a few types of creatures that can resist the freezing temperatures and harsh living conditions.
Ecosystems also differ in type. They can be marine, ocean, such as shallow water, deep water, warm water, cold water, aquatic, fresh water, such as ponds and rivers, or terrestrial, land-based, such as forests, savannas, and deserts. Ocean ecosystems are most common on Earth. As oceans and the living organisms they contain cover 75% of the Earth's surface. Freshwater ecosystems are the rarest, covering only 1.8% of the Earth's surface. Terrestrial land ecosystems cover the remainder of Earth.
Anytime a stranger, living things or external factors such as rise in temperature is introduced to an ecosystem, it can be disastrous to that ecosystem. This is because the new organism or factor can distort the natural balance of the interaction and harm or destroy the ecosystem.
Unfortunately, ecosystems have been disrupted and even destroyed by natural disasters such as fires, floods, storms, and volcanic eruptions. Other disturbances are the result of human activities, such as acid rainfall, deforestation, and the introduction of invasive species. Different ecosystems may respond differently to the same disturbance. One may recover rapidly, and another may recover more slowly or not at all.
Now we move to the questions. We have almost 3 to 5 questions, and we'll start from the first one.
Okay. Provide a subtitle for each paragraph in the passage. In this question, we have to go
This
back.
varies from one person to another, actually.
Well, but there are some common things. For example, the first paragraph is talking about the definition of the word ecosystem. The second one is talking about how the ecosystem is working, the components or and the third one is giving you an example and so on. So if you read each paragraph, I think you have to develop the skill of coming up with the main idea of the paragraph. The second question is consider the information in the passage. What have you already known and what is the new information that you have learned? Again, it is a personal question. I don't know how much information do you know about this. Third question is,
how do living creatures and non-living factors influence one another in an ecosystem?
Of course, all the things in the ecosystem are affecting each other. The more rabbits that foxes eat, the more the plants may start to thrive because there are fewer rabbits to eat them. So there is a relationship between foxes and rabbits. So if the foxes eat the rabbits, then the plants won't be affected.
Well, I also believe they were talking about something similar to the example where I'll tell you, the non-living factors like weather, earth, sun, soil, climate, atmosphere, and water, for instance, and stuff like that, they all depend on each other because, for instance, if we're talking about, for example, a fish, so the fish needs the water, which is the living factors, because it lives in it and it eats in it and everything, its whole life in it. So I guess they depend on each other or they complement each other.
Yes, it's a question of complementary relationship.
Yeah.
The next one is how diverse are ecosystems?
Okay.
They are incredibly diverse.
True.
Last question, what can cause imbalances of ecosystems?
Human interactions.
Or natural disasters.
True.
So both natural disasters or human activities can cause imbalance for these ecosystems. Thank you for your help and cooperation with these chapters.